Thank you.
Yeah, we good? Okay. We're talking about a machlokes whether you're allowed to do chalipin with the coin. Now, I mean, chalipin is what we're doing. A lot of this, obviously, is in Yonah the Yom having to do mechiras chametz, but chalipin is basically one person gives a handkerchief or a yarmulke, and in exchange he gets back whatever it is. The question is, can he do that with money? So we said who were the sheetas again? Rav and Levi. So one says you cannot do chalipin with a coin. Why not? If you do chalipin with a yarmulke or a shmata or something like that, so why can't you do it with a coin? So the reason is because the coin has a face on it. So maybe the guy is thinking that he's being kind of the face, not so much the coin. That was the reason. So now Amar Papa. Three wide lines down. Even according to the
But is that true? Who thinks that?
I know.
Who thinks they're being kona the picture on it?
Yeah. So tomorrow in the Anomid base the kasha gets stronger even than what you're saying, meaning and even if it's not, I'm saying it's worth at least the amount of a handkerchief, no? Or a yarmulke. No, that's what I'm saying. I hear you, Kasha. We'll see on base. Maybe it's on base or tomorrow's stuff. I'm not sure, but we'll see more about it. It seems like there has to be some form of mamashas to what you're using for the chalipin. And if the person is not happy with it, I mean, let's say somebody comes to sell the chametz, and I give him some beat up bic, pen, which is what I do. Right? And the guy says, I'm not what I care. What do you think I am? I want something more chashuv than that. But then the chalipin won't. Then the chalipin won't work. For some reason, there has to be some sort of chashivas to the chalipin, which is difficult to understand because there's nothing going on. It's sort of a symbolic kinyan. But okay, we'll have to see. So even according to the mandama that says that you cannot use a coin for chalipin. It doesn't make chalipin, but you can buy the coin with chalipin. Meaning, we're saying that you can't use a coin in order to buy something. Meaning, if I give the coin to somebody else, I'm not kind of. Let's say I'm buying a jacket off Naftali, so I'm not kind of the jacket from Naftali by him giving me a coin, right? But if which way are we going now?
You're buying my jacket.
I'm taking the coin. I'm giving you the coin. You're taking the coin.
Whichever one you want.
I'm giving Naftali the coin, and I'm supposed to buy his jacket back. So we're saying that doesn't work. But Naftali can be kind of the coin from me by me taking his jacket. The jacket, meaning it's a two-way street.
Are you selling me am I selling the jacket for the coin?
No. You're taking the coin, and we're just using the jacket as the chalipin. Meaning we're saying that you can't use a coin of chalipin in order to buy something else. But that something else can acquire the coin to the other side.
So how do you acquire the jacket? One second.
Meaning
I'm acquiring the coin.
No, let's go for Mechiras Chametz since that's what we're talking about, since that's on people's mind, at least on my mind. Right. So if I would take a coin and I would give it to the guy coming to sell us chametz, and the guy would lift up the coin. So according to either Rav or Levi, one of them holds that that's not a good chalipin. Why not? Because it's a coin. Right? So therefore, I am not going to get the rights for his chametz because you can't do chalipin with a coin. However, if I wanted to give that coin to the guy as a kinyan, then he could give me his jacket, and then what? Well, or give me his chametz. That's not tangible. But he could give me something, and I can give him the coin. He'll be kind of the coin.
You're selling it.
Whatever you're doing with the chalipin.
You're not doing
So
that.
the
You're doing
chalipin,
a sale.
no, it's a chalipin. What do you mean? You're giving me your jacket, and I'm going to give you the coin. And I'm giving you right back the jacket. No, I'm giving you right back the jacket.
Isn't the whole point is for you to get my jacket? Or my
But now
chametz?
we're saying you can't buy the jacket with the coin. That
You can't do
You
chalipin.
can't do chalipin with the coin in order to get the jacket. But to give the jacket in order to be kind of the coin, that you could do.
Correct. Because
You can't use the coin to make the chalipin, but you could do a chalipin
in order to acquire
the coin.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what Rav Papa said.
Okay.
I mean, it works. I don't know if it's a two-way street or one-way street. A face, that's how you say it. But granted, you can't use a coin to do the chalipin,
But you
but
could
you could
acquire
use a
kesef.
chalipin in order to acquire the coin. Yes, that's what Rav Papa was saying.
I thought you meant
So-
Metzia, the chicken just texted me and said, please have Naftali be quiet.
Please, what?
Please have Naftali be quiet.
No, the chicken's not longer here.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so Akruya Mekru B'Chalipin. Midi Dava Peiros Rav Nachman, similar to Peiros according to Rav Nachman. Peiros Rav Nachman, by Peiros that we set up at the top of the daf according to Rav Nachman, Lav Afal Gabdi Indu Loy Abdi Chalipin. Isn't it that even though you can't use Peiros to make Chalipin, but Akruya Makna B'Chalipin, but you can use you could use it in order to be machmer chalipin. So tabanami loishnas of coins is the same thing. Meaning there's no difference.
I'm sorry. Could you say where you are, please?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I was about to tell you. So it's the second line up from the bottom on Memhei Amabit.
Thank you. There was Mesiris Nefesh to come here to this year tonight.
Why?
So they made us a surprise birthday party for my daughter. Sorry, she's 40 Kadara, and I left 15 of a lot of my ankle Kadara to go look at all these ugly guys in this year.
Yeah. What time was the party?
Party started 6:30.
At least you got some quality. You're in the same
Baruch Hashem. Yeah, Baruch Hashem.
left the house or
In the house, yeah.
okay, very nice. So you get so we'll do it fast here. Naftali's very nervous that we're gonna miss Meyer 9:30. So he's pressuring me. So, anyway, you should only have nachas from all that.
Amen. Thank you.
So anyway, so that's what the Papa said. You can use chalipin to be kind of a coin, even though you can't use a coin to be kind of a chalipin. So meisvei. So now we need a little bit of hakdama here. So there's something called, as we know, Ma'aser Sheni. So like we've been learning, you want to take up your Ma'aser Sheni to Yerushalayim. It's too heavy. It's too much. So you put it onto a coin. So when you put it onto a coin, there's a 20% surcharge that you have to pay. And you have to pay a chaimish if you're doing it. But that's if you paid it to yourself. If you paid it to somebody else, then that wipes out the 20% surcharge. Meaning, this is exactly what I do if I would have Ma'aser Sheni. I would call up Naftali and I say, Naftali, do me a favor, buy my Ma'aser Sheni. He says, no problem. All right? So he'll take my Ma'aser Sheni off of me, and then he gives me his money, and then I save the 20% surcharge. And then on the Utter and Tish, I'll kick Naftali like buy him a candy or something. Right? So, I don't know if you could do that. But anyway, so that would be that would be a way in order to avoid paying the 20% surcharge. But what happens if the guy doesn't have any money on him? So how can he? The guy he can't buy the Ma'aser Sheni. So he can pull a scam. Meisvei, if he's standing in the threshing floor. So now he just finished with all his grain, and he realizes he has a lot of grain that's going to be Ma'aser Sheni, and he wants to save the 20% surcharge. So he doesn't want to put it onto money himself. He wants to do it to somebody else. But he doesn't have any money. Right? He doesn't have any money to do this. Right? Meaning, how would he do this? He would be makna the fruits. I mean, let's use the example we said. If I didn't have any money, all right, and Naftali didn't have any money. So what would I do? I'll give him the fruits, the matana, right? Then I'll tell him, and then we'll take before that. Let's say Naftali didn't have any money. So what would I do? I'd be makna him the Ma'aser Sheni fruits. and then I would buy the fruits off of him, and then we'd save the 20% surcharge. But let's say I don't have any money, so now what am I going to do? So there's a way to do this. So the Gemara says, he's standing in the garden and doesn't have money. So what he does is he tells his friend, meaning me telling Naphtali, here's the fruit for you b'matana. Now here, Rachamim, it means a friend, because you got to trust the guy. Because if the guy don't want to be such a good friend, he just takes the fruit and he runs and finished. So it's got to be a friend. On top of Aleph now. And then he goes back and he tells him, the Maisa Sheni that I just gave you as a present is now going out of the Kedusha, and the money that's in my house will get the Kedusha of the Maisa Sheni. That's the scam, that's how you do it.
So whose money? My money or your money?
My money.
Your money.
My money. So I'm pulling a shtick all the way around. I gave you the fruit, you have nothing, right? You're just standing there.
Right.
I give you the fruit of matana, and then I say that the fruit that's in your hand now, I'm buying off of you, and the kedusha is going off to the money in my house, right? So the Gemara says, "Time it ain't be other mois." Why does he have to do this shtick? Because he doesn't have money. Oh, and yesh be other mois. If he did, if he had money on him, right? I'm just. Right. So meaning if I had money, so what would I do? I'd give the money to Naphtali, and then he would buy the fruit off of me, right? That's the simplest way to do it. Okay, we're talking about Naphtali has no money whatsoever. I have fruit, and I have money. So the Gemara is saying what you do here is because I don't have, and well, let's go with that. If I had money and I had fruit, the simplest way to do it is I just give Naphtali the money to Matana, and then he takes the money and he buys the fruit off me and give out. I save the surcharge. But in this particular case, he didn't have money. I didn't have any money. So I had to do this shtick of giving Naphtali the fruit and then saying that the money in my house is going to go. So the Gemara is going now time of day in the other mois. Mashma that it's only because I didn't have money. But if I did have money, then what I should have done is I should have given him the money, which doesn't mean necessarily Mashiach. You don't have to drag the money on the floor, it means pick it up. Uparik, and then we'll be paid it. The hachiyadif, because that's better. Because the one who's doing the pigeon is a nachri, meaning he's not a guy, means he's a stranger. He's a stranger to this thing. Meaning it's better that the stranger comes and buys the Maisa Sheni off of me than the stranger takes the fruit and I buy it off of him. Right? But it's less of a harama. Now, if you say that you can use a coin for chalipin, why don't I just give the money to Naphtali by using a shmata? Meaning, he'll give me his handkerchief, a sudar, and in exchange I'll give him the money that I have in my house. Right? Meaning again, we're saying that it's better, the scam to do is better for me to give Naphtali the money and not for me to give Naphtali the fruit. So there's this Gemara saying, well, if we could do chalipin with money, if you could be kaina money with chalipin, so why don't I get the money to Naphtali by just taking his yarmulke or taking his handkerchief, and I'll give him the money that's in my house, right? The lifra can be paid. Elamai, it must be that you cannot do chalipin on money, right? So when it says no, you could have done it, but the less sudar, Naphtali has no handkerchief whatsoever. So he doesn't have a handkerchief, so he can't do it. Says,
or yarmulke.
Or yarmulke, right? Or a yarmulke. What about clothing?
Okay, if he has one set of clothing, he doesn't want to get naked in the barn. But he doesn't have a yarmulke?
Those shorts don't count.
Why would he have a yarmulke? For what reason?
That's what I'm saying. That's the point.
I think Gershon's bringing a raya. There was no minig to have a yarmulke. And certainly not a hat.
Well, David, you're on the shia. I said he was wearing kippus ruga that didn't have the shia, so it wasn't a beged.
You think it was too small?
Yeah, it didn't have a shia, no. So it didn't count as you couldn't use it for the klipa.
Maybe. All right, that's what you
I
said.
think someone once asked Reb Chaim itself how big the yarmulke needs to be. He said, as long as it covers the mayach, it's good enough to be a yarmulke, considered a baggage. So the smaller the yarmulke, the smaller the brain.
Okay. Okay. But anyway, so I don't know exactly. Can't believe he had nothing to do with Kinyan Suda with. Right? I don't know. It's strange. But okay.
The Gemara is going to ask that in a second.
Well, it's not really going to ask that. That's a different kasha. There's a different kasha that Gemara's kasha. I think this Gemara's.
I don't know why it's so hard to understand.
You tell me a guy can't. Yeah, he has.
The guy is dressed like a Pakistani. He has a one-piece thing. That's all he wears. There's nothing. He doesn't wear anything else, and he's working in a barn.
Okay, I guess so. I was going to tell differently, Rabbi, but he's working.
Rabbi, can you expand on that, please?
What did you say?
I want you to expand on your description of it.
I don't understand.
And after Gartel to daven or no?
He has no gartel. He's not davening now.
Then maybe Taki's working shirtless. He's working so hard in the silo or whatever you call the goyre. Right? Okay, whatever it is. So then the Gemara says, okay, agav karka. Why don't we do it agav karka? Meaning, he could tell him that be kinda the little bit of karka that I have, and through the karka you be kinda the money, which is what we do.
How to be kind of
But we do that by that's one of the big kinyonim by Mechiras Chametz. Right, by Mechiras Chametz, the rabbi tells the guy that the guy is renting from him, let's say a closet or a room in the house. And agav, that room in the house, the guy is being kind of everybody's chametz all over the world, whatever is being sold. That's called an Kinyan agav karka. Right? So why can't
you doing that karka?
do it? Well, he must own karka. I must own some karka somewhere.
How are you doing the Kinyan on it?
What? How you doing karka?
You have nothing. You have no nothing to do with Khalifa and no money.
No,
What
so then you
Kinyan?
dig on the floor. You'll take, let's say I own the Gemara's Havamina here is that I own the
land you're
it's
standing
going on in my what do you call that thing? A garden, right? It's going on in my garden, right? So I'll tell you, be kind of dig a little hole here. That's a chazaka, and then you're kind of the karka, and I got the karka. You kind of the money that's in my house, and then you'll buy the payers offering, right?
To get out of 20%, right?
Yes, it could be a lot of money. 20%, 20%, a lot of money.
In the case when we turn to the top, where you ended up buying it back with money in your house.
That's the end
Why
game.
why can't I just buy it with money in my house from you?
Well,
We both have no
money. Assuming you didn't have no.
I
I have
don't-
money, just not here.
And I don't have money anyway.
I guess.
Okay.
I guess.
Yeah, your brother left his wallet home. You have no money, Naftali.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, so why don't you give it agav karka? So he said the less like karka. Somewhere we didn't have karka. But it says he's standing in the garden. Right? The garden sheina shaloi. So we say it's talking about he's standing in the garden. It's not his. So now this kasha, we've had this conversation many a time. The ichvil tana, and as the tana literally means is the tana doubling over, meaning he's going to find the case. Lashmin and Gabra Artiloi, right? To find somebody who's so well, it's called Artiloi, really means naked. The less lab, I don't know if it means Ben, I don't know if that means physically naked or it means
Rashi says Aram, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, so I understood it as, but I hear what you're saying.
You're saying Aram means it doesn't have anything. Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, that's like Ani Chashuv Kamei, something like that. That's what I was thinking. Right, maybe Taki is naked, but that doesn't explain that he doesn't have karka either.
I'm sure.
What's bothering me?
Why do you think everybody owns a piece of land, Siaka? Where did this come from? Take a survey. How many guys here on this year own a piece of land?
No, but between
No, so Rashi says Shmamina Gurin She'ena Shalai, but Hitaka does have a Suda. You're right, he doesn't have land. But it's gotta be he has a Suda.
Right. So meaning he doesn't have, we're talking about a guy who doesn't have land, doesn't have any clothing on him, or the equivalent of anything to do. I mean, what are the chances of this? Right? That's all the Gemara is asking. What you're saying, this wild case of taking money, being magnet, back and forth, as a scam. We're teaching you as a scam, right? This is one of those Gemaras where you wonder where yeshiva guys learn how to pull their shticks, right? This is another Bava Metzia Gemara. You're saying it all why? Because it's talking about a guy who doesn't own karka, doesn't own clothing, right? And what's the chance? So,
Yaakov, can I say so quickly? Maybe it just was in the journal. I saw today, Sunday. I saw today in the finance. There was 2 family-owned farms. Somebody wanted to take them public. So Bekitza, one was owned by the same family for 68 years, and one was owned for 78 years. They had tens of thousands of acres of peaches and some other kind of fruit they grew. 68 years and 78 years. The family was making parnasa. Some guy came up with the genius. They let them take them public. They took them public. They put on all the debt on them. Now they're both going bankrupt. They're both in bankruptcy. Yeah. The guy, family for 4 diaries, the family mate was millionaires. They own 25,000 or 40,000 acres of fruit. Now they're finished.
Interesting. I guess not a yeshiva cup. He didn't learn how to hazah. Yeah, interesting. But anyway,
they had a lot of bush. They owned a lot of bushels for Shani families.
Yeah, hear that. Anyway, so the Gemara is asking. So we're going to go out to such a stretch to say all this thing just to come up with this little case, to which I asked, and I think we've asked this before on this stuff. Yeah, I mean, this is the one case that you have a taina that the Gemara found some oddball case, right? When we do this all the time, right? Unless don't we find like it's talking about with a day that it was raining and there was no umbrella, whatever, what are the chashash that maybe it's raining and he's going to take out his jacket and he's going to tie it and maybe it's going to fall off. I hit in our hair, right? Well, that's common, right? Okay, I don't know.
Maybe over here it's different because the Mishnah in Meister Sheni is giving a suggestion to a guy what he should do. So like doesn't make sense. The Chazal is gonna say, hey, here's an eitzah when the guy,
I hear. Which
is different than all the other strange cases. The Gemara said it's like Chazal or Geyser, even though it's such a strange case, whatever, they didn't want you to do it. But over here they're saying he's coming to Geyser, do this. And it's like I don't know.
I don't know if is that okay. That meaning that's not, it's not a gezerah really, but fine. I hear what you're saying.
No, I'm saying the other cases in Gemaras are usually like gezerahs chazal. Fine, you have strange cases now, but over here it's no. The Mishnah is giving a suggestion, telling a guy he doesn't have money, tell Amilach or whatever. So Gemara is saying, hey,
you don't need to give out suggestions. He's saying for such an odd case,
right?
I hear that. Okay. Very good. So what he's saying, we hear from this that the bottom line is that you cannot be kaina a coin with chalipin. Shmamino. So that's what we hear from there. Okay. Bafra Papa Hazabay. See if anybody remember this. We had this Gemara almost exactly 2 months ago in Bava Kama, which I did not remember, at least not initially. Bafra Papa Hazabay. Even Rav Papa changed his mind. Again, Rav Papa is the one that said you could be kaina a coin with chalipin. Rapapa had 12,000 dinrim by this guy Bechuzai, and he wanted to get it back from him. So Rashi fills in the case here. Bechuzai was not giving 12,000 dinrim to a shliach on behalf of Rapapa to bring it, because if that shliach didn't make it to Rapapa, then this Bar Chuzai did not want to be on the hook for 12,000. Coins. So Rapapa did send the shliach. So Bar Chuzai didn't trust him.
The second is handed over to the shliach.
No, because he's going to say you didn't hand it over. All the hack. That, right? So Rapapa came up with a brilliant idea. He was makna to his shliach through agav karka. he was mocking him. The Gemara is going to say he was mocking him the doorway of his house. And that is all very clear why after the doorway, but he was mocking him the doorway of his house. And agav the doorway, all 12,000 coins were he was mocking it to his shliach. And now Bar Chuzai is off the Bei Chuzai, I'm sorry, is off the hook. Because it's own. He gave it to the shliach, and the shliach now owns it. So Bei Chuzai is off the hook. So that's what he did. So Akninu Rav Shmuel Bar Acha agav Asifa de Beise. He was maknet to Rav Shmuel Bar Abba, who was the shliach, agav, like this again, agav karka, the doorway of his house, and that's it. And Bei Chuzai was very happy with that arrangement. So Kiyasa Nofik La'apei Ad Tavach, and Rav Papa was so happy with this eitzah that he went out to Tavach to meet Rav Shmuel Bar Acha with all his money. So what do you see from this? Why did he have to do an agav karka? If Rav Papa wanted Rav Shmuel Bar Acha to be kind of the money, why couldn't he just be making it to him with the chalipin? Right? Why couldn't he just give him a shmata, let him give him his yarmulke, and say agav the yarmulke, he'll be kind of all the coins. Elamai, he didn't do that. He did it agav karka instead. Must be that it doesn't work. The chalipin doesn't work in order to be kind of coins. Right? So the Papa is also chayzer. Yeah. Chain Amar Ula.
That's not what we said. In the beginning of that, we said you can't use a coin for chalipin. You could be clean on a coin.
Right, and now he's saying Rav Papa is the one that said it, and now he changed his mind. Clearly, he
so
took
now
hold
you
of
can't
that.
even.
You cannot buy a coin with chalipin, and you can't use chalipin for a coin either. Now for Hazor, we got a freebie for the next 4 lines. V'chein Amar Ula ein matbeya nasa chalipin. V'chein Amar Rav Asi ein matbeya nasa chalipin. V'chein Amar Rav Chana Amar Rav Yochanan ein matbeya nasa chalipin. Givaldi, yeah. Base Rav Abba Ula. So Rav Abba asked the kasha to Ula. Areisha Hayu. So we have in a case Chamara B'Poil of Toivin Oisei B'Shuk. This is also a Pesach sugi. If you have your workers, the donkey drivers and the workers, ask their boss for money in the shuk in order to feed them. The reason what it has to do with Pesach is, can you give your workers money on Pesach if you know they're going to go buy themselves chametz? So you have to structure it properly in order to be matis somebody to do that. You have to do it, meaning you give them the money and say buy whatever you want. Right, so here this guy didn't have any money, but his workers asked him for money. So what did he do? We get into rivers now. He told the money changer, 10 liba dinar mois vafarnasim. Give me a dinar kind of money, and I'll be mafarnasim. I'll give them to eat. Vani ela lecha yafa dinar utrisis. I'm going to give you a nice dinar, and in addition to the dinar is what he borrowed, and a trisis. Basically from the money that I have in my house. All right. So now, if this is a loan, then this is ribis. Right? Again, the guy's workers came to him in the street and said, "We want to eat." The guy said, "I got no money." So he goes to the money changer and says, "Can I have money to give my workers, and I'm going to pay you back that money plus a little bit that I have in my house." Right? So is mutter. If he has the money at home, then it's mutter. And also, if not, then it's also because it's ribis. Because it's in a loan. So now, how is this happening here? If you say that a matbeya can't become chalipin, also then it's an halva and it's awesome. Meaning, how did this person? The Gemara is saying that this money changer is not lending him money. This thing is mutter if this boss has money in his house. They're just in the field working. So he tells the money changer, says, "Give him the money, and then I'm going to pay you back the money in my house." So if it's a chalipin, so then it's not a halva. Basically, what happened is that he bought money off the shulchani, and he gave him a little extra because he was so desperate. There was no loan here because the money changed hands. We're thinking that the money changed hands through a chalipin, right? Meaning when the money changer gave the money to the boss, then the boss's money at home transferred into the money changer's rishus. So basically, he paid a little extra to buy some money. There was no loan here. But if you say that chalipin doesn't work, so then it's a halva. He borrowed the money and he's paying it back extra. So it's also how are the halva also? So Ishtik, he was quiet. He didn't have an answer. Amalei. So Rav Abba said to Ula, Dilma Idi, shanu deleka. We had this in the Mishnah. We said there's such a thing as, like, we called it asimon in the Mishnah. But basically, it's these coins that don't have any value. It's sort of like the Joker, right? It's neutral coins. So that's what was used here. So there's no tiva. So what? So the ED payrav. So memela, since this again, remember what was the issue with not using money as chalipin? Because the person's das might be on the face of the coin. So these have no face of the coin. So basically, it's a little piece of metal, right? The same way you use a pen to make a kinyan chalipin. So you're using this piece of metal to make a kinyan chalipin. So it's considered peiros, and the shumachi niknu b'chalipin. Therefore, the chalipin worked. Basically, what he's saying is that it was money that had no denomination. So Amrale, so he said back to him, and yeah, that's taka what happened. And there's no proof. Take a nami, because it says the katani yofa dinar patrise. He says, I'm going to give you a nice dinar and a treasis. V'loy katani dinar yofa patrise. He didn't say a dinar yofa and a treasis, right? Which is basically saying that he's not saying I'm giving you the equivalent of a dinar. I'm giving you a dinar yofa treasis. So shmami no. We hear from this that's Taka was talking about coins that did not have any specific denomination. So man, that's why the chalipin. That's why the chalipin the chalipin would work. Rashi is a different test. Rashi it's somewhere where there was money and these pieces of metal, let's call them, meaning on the coins without a denomination. Kimin de Islay, Nasa, since he has money, now there's a big chiddush from Rashi here. Since the boss who has to feed the workers has money in his house, this we had in yesterday's daf, Nasa Kaimer Halveni Achayovi Bini Ayachem Mafteach. Just lend me the money until my son comes or until I find the key. Meaning he really has the money. He just can't access it. So that's not called a halva. I mean, it's called a halva, but it's not an issur. Meaning, yesterday we said sabasah, that when you borrow a dozen eggs, there's an issur d'Rabbanan to pay back a dozen eggs because the price might have gone up, so it's rivets, right? That's what we said. But we did say, but if you have the eggs in your house, you just can't access it. Let's say you're locked out of your house, and then you are allowed to borrow the eggs and pay back the eggs because it's not really a halva. So Rashi is learning the pshat in the Gemara that this extends to regular loans too. It's it's his Ezer Neshech Sugya, but it sounds like the way Rashi explains this Gemara, many business loans that people take. Again, I have no idea if I'm correct on this. Ben, maybe you'll know if it's correct or not from the financial world. Let's say every company borrows money, right? They all borrow money. So according to the way Rashi's understanding the Gemara, they can borrow money on rivers, and it's not rivers. Because they're borrowing money because it has to work with taxes, etc. But really, they have the money sitting in the bank. They're borrowing anyways, right? So therefore, there's no rivers. The way Rashi is explaining, there's no rivers. To which Taisa says that's not the way it goes.
What does it mean? If I have money and I want to borrow money, I can borrow rivers?
That's the way Rashi. It seems the way Rashi is understanding the Gemara is that if you have the money and you just want to borrow money because
most of these businesses don't need to ask.
That's what I think comes out. Again, I don't know for sure. But that's what I think comes out according to the way Rashi's understanding, because this is not a sabasah. This case is not sabasah. It's regular money that he's borrowing. It's not sabasah, which is Taisus Taina on Rashi. Right? You can't say that the heter of sabasah, if you have the eggs in your house, is because sabasah is the rabbana, in case the price goes up. So we said, if you have the eggs in your house, we're not making that gzeira. Fine. But it doesn't work for regular halva. Again, I'm not sure because if I understand it, that means I'm learning something wrong. That's the way I look at it with Hazal. It has to be. If I'm understanding it, then it can't be I've got it right. I don't know. Gershon's shaking his head. No, I don't know if he means he's trying to be mechazik me that I could learn it right, or is this what I'm saying?
Well, Shmuel said
I think you're right.
Shmuel said a Ritva today. That's what the Ritva says. What you said.
Yeah, Ritva says that's what I'm saying. Okay, very interesting.
I think you're right. Also, that Rashi says it explicitly, and I don't know why Tosis doesn't say Pirish Bakuntrus, but he asked the question. The Sabas Asayim is no good.
Right. So it's interesting because we know we never pass like Rashi, but sure, this would be a big cooler. This would be a big cooler, right? Yeah.
No, it's not it's not where you go to a bank or a loan guy for terms. You don't say I'm borrowing money for for 180 days. You say, I have money, but I don't have it right this minute. I
Correct,
need it
correct.
right this minute.
Yeah. Now, I don't know.
It's like the old Meister with the billionaire. He walks into a bank in central New York and asks to borrow $100,000. So they say, they check up and say, okay, good. And then they say at the end, we need to take some collateral. He says, okay, I'll leave you my Rolls Royce. It's worth $210,000, whatever it is. So the bank teller's like, well, I just saw your account. You have no need to borrow the money. He says, yeah, but I'm going out of town for 10 days. There's no parking. That's not a halva. He wanted to park his car for free.
Hey, that's how we got rich. That's very good. Okay, I hear. Maybe. I don't know. It would take care of a lot of the business issues, the business loan issues. But again, it has to be cash. It can't be that you have real estate to offset. It has to be cash. All right? Okay. Anyway, so that's that kasha. Fine. Toshima. Anything that's the Gemara now takes this as a very simple explanation. Anything that's used as money for something else. Basically, it means if you're using money to buy something else. Since this guy is zoicha in the money, then the person is mechuyev to swap whatever he said he's going to swap. Meaning, if I say to a guy, I'm buying ice cream, going back to our ice cream case, right? I go to an ice cream guy and I give him money to buy the ice cream. So now the guy has to give me back. He has these mechuyev to give me ice cream, right? That's the chalipin. What does it mean? It's anything that's made with money. Matbeya, it's talking about a coin. Matbeya nasa chalipin. It says, I give the coin, and the other guy has to give me back what it is, right? Whatever it is that we're swapping. So you see that there is chalipin with coins. So the Gemara says very posh. Kol hanishum domim ba'acher. It doesn't mean when anything that gets evaluated for something else. Meaning, kivan shezochazen is chayim zebechalipin. Meaning anything that we would evaluate it to see how much it's worth in order to swap it out, that has chalipin. Not meaning money doesn't have chalipin, but anything that I would want, meaning if I want to buy a car from somebody, so you're going to evaluate how much the car is worth before you take the car. So if that's the case, you can use that for chalipin. If the person is chayiv, is zoiche, in this thing that you're going to evaluate to see how much it's worth, is chayiv zeh chalifin. So then this guy, the other guy, is chayiv to give him to swap it out. But it doesn't mean money. It means anything that you would evaluate how much money it's worth, but not actual money. Well, it says that makes sense. In the Ketani say for Ketzah, what would be an example of swapping something out that's worth money? If the guy wants to swap a shar for a para or a chamor for the shar, shmami no, right? So we learn from this, right? That would be, that's a chalipin, a shar for a para or a chamor for a shar, yeah, because those you basically you don't swap a shar for a para or a chamor for a shar unless you know that they're near the equivalent in prices, right? Unless you do it for a para name later about. I hope the Olam understood that joke. David understand it. I mean, usually you're going to try and make sure that your animal that you're swapping out is going to have some. You're going to try and evaluate it with how much money. So then we do a chalifa. Fine. So the Gemara asks, my ketzad, and that again the havamina we thought that it means a coin. That kol hanishim b'damim means. You do a coin, right? So what?
Could you end up to like it happen? It happens sometimes. You trade the power for itself.
Okay, you just give it back. Yeah, we're gonna
Power
have
to be named later.
You couldn't come up with somebody. Yeah, well, we're gonna have a similar case in a minute. But anyway, so the Gemara is saying, according to the havamina, that it was talking about doing chalipin with money. So then, what does it mean, ketzad? And how do you doing chalipin with money? You swap a shar for a para, or a chamor for a shar. What does that mean? That's not ketzad of money. That's not money. You're not doing chalipin with money. So, meaning in the havamina, how do we understand it? My ketzad hochi gomaru peri nami avdi chalipin. What it means is peris can also be used for chalipin. Ketzad hichlif shar b'para or chamor b'shar. If you swap out a shor with a para, chamor b'shor, meaning the initial part of the price is saying that you could do chalipin with money. Meaning, again, this is in the Havamina. We slug up this whole thing. But in the Havamina, you can do the chalipin with money. But if you don't have money, there is a way that there's another way to do it, which is just by doing things that are worth money. Right? So honey, Rav Sheshes, we're going to say that's good according to Rav Sheshes, the Amar Peri Avi Chalipin. Rav Sheshes holds, and that's on tomorrow's daf, that Paris, you could do Chalipin with Paris. Meaning there's a whole issue because the whole concept of Chalipin, we learn out from Bayaz and Rus. Right? With his shoe, he took off a shoe, they did a Chalipin. So the shaila is, a shoe is a kli. Right? So the question is, in order to do a Chalipin, does it have to be a kli? Or can it be Paris? Can it be money? That's what a lot of this is based on. So Rav Sheshes holds that you can do Chalipin with Paris. Fine. So then this Gemara works out. El Rav Nachman Amar Kli in Abo Peri Lo. You can do it with the Kli, but you can't do it with Paris. Abo Peri Lo Yom Chalipin, but Paris you can't do Chalipin. So then my Ketzad, and then how you understand the Ketzad? Because the Chalipin doesn't work with one type of animal to another type of animal. So going to answer is Hachikamar Yesh Domim Shehein Kechalipin. Sometimes you could have payment that's like a Chalipin. Ketzad hichlif demei shor b'para or demei chamar b'shor. If you swap out the worth of a shor for a para or the worth of a chamar for a shor. So this is similar to what Rabbi is saying with the animal to be named later. Meaning what happened here, the way Rashi explains it, is a guy buys a shor from somebody and he says, "Okay, I'm going to pay you back money later." Fine. Then the guy realizes he doesn't have money. He says, "You know what? Instead of taking money, you mind taking my para?" Right? So I'm saying it right now. Once the guy agrees to it, am I saying it right? Right, yeah, he took it, and he didn't pay for it. And then he said, "Yeah, I'll give you a cow instead." Right?
Can the guy back out of the sale now because he's giving him different terms, different form of payment?
I think it seems like it's going to happen. It's going to happen automatically. Can he back out? L'chayr or not? No, I don't think he can. Right?
Rashi says clearly not.
What, that he can't back out?
Right.
Okay, so then what? How does it work right away?
Well, because the shor switched hands.
As
long as they agree.
I bought the shor. Now I said, "I'm going to pay you back money." Then I don't have money. So I say, "Oh, that's what's on. And the seller has my cow." That's what it must be. So I'm going to tell him, "You know what? Instead of giving money, just take my cow." Right? Why do you have my cow? I don't know. Kasha ben Amaisa?
Rashi does not say it like that. Rashi says, "I'm going to give you a cow because I don't have the money."
Right. And so then why does that work right away?
As soon as they agree, the kinyan of the shor is kind of the part.
But there was no
retroactively.
The kinyan on the shor retroactively works to be kind of the para?
I think so.
Okay, I didn't realize this till when I learned it. I thought I understood it, but okay, gets back to my other rule. But okay, either way. But what's happening is that the guy was initially supposed to pay back money and decides, and he decides to pay back a shor instead. So that's a weird case. So that would be a case. I guess you're right, Gershon. That's the way the kinyan is working. That's the chiddush of the chalipin, that the kinyan is working that way. Okay, my time of the Rav Nachman. Why does Rav Nachman hold? You could, meaning the kinyan happens right away. Meaning normally we're saying a kinyan mayas doesn't happen this way. So how come in this case it works? So again, the case is where I buy a shor from, let's go with Naphtali. I buy a shor from Naphtali. I say I'm going to pay him back. Then I realize I don't have the money. So I tell him, you know what, just take this cow of mine. And that works as a chalipin, like Gershon said, it seems like it works with mafreya. And it works it almost works like a chalipin, even though the kinyan, the first part of chalipin happened already. Okay, but that kinyan works, right? However it works, but it's working sort of like a chalipin. So why does he say that? So Savar Rabbi Yochanan, he holds like Rabbi Yochanan, Damar, Tvar Torah, Mois Kanis. Really, Minat Torah, when you give money, you're kind of, even though you don't pick it up, right? We've been saying for the last 3 blot in this parak that Mois is not kind of, it's picking it up. It's either Mashicha, Hagba, that's the real kinyan. So he's saying that really Dvar Torah money is kind of. Omru, Mashicha kind of. So why do we say that you need Mashicha? Gezer Sheva Yom Malay, this is Rupite for Aliyah. We're afraid that the seller's going to say your chitim got burned in my attic. Meaning, let's say, using in today's days, it's easy. I buy something off of somebody on eBay, right? And I put it on my credit card and I bought the thing, right? Now this guy knows that he already got the money. So if there's a fire in his house and he hasn't shipped the item that I bought from him, the last thing he's going to save is this thing in his house, because why should he? He already got the money. The kinyan's the kinyan. So the Chacham were afraid about that. So the Chacham said, you know what? It's not a kinyan. If you're not going to save it, you're going to be on the hook, and the guy can back out. So that's why they made it that the kinyan doesn't happen until there's a mashicha, so that the seller will look out for the buyer. Right. So really, mois is kind of a deraisa, and then we said mashicha al tegezer derabbanan. So therefore, what? So, but here in this case, where I'm buying the shor from Naphtali, and I end up deciding to pay him back with a para, that's not a common transaction. That's not the way transactions normally work. It's not shchiach. Milsa the shchicha goes with Rabbanan, something that's common. The Rabbanan made a gezerah. Milsa the loy shchicha, loy goes with Rabbanan. The Rabbanan did not make this gezerah that you need to be kind of with Mashicha in a weird case. Since this is a weird case, we say the kinyan's going to work, even though the guy did not actually do a kinyan. Right? So that's why Nachman holds the kinyan works in this situation. Okay, but that only works according to Rav Nachman. But according to Reish Lakish, who says that Mashicha is mefurish in the Torah, so that's good if we hold like Rav Sheshes, who says the Mataras like Rav Sheshes. We could say it goes like Rav Sheshes, that Chalipin works with Paris. But if Reish Lakish holds like Rav Nachman, Damer Peri lo yavdi Chalipin, that Paris doesn't make Chalipin, and you can't do a Chalipin. And I'm sorry, money is not kinda, right? Because you need Mashicha. So then how is Reish Lakish going to explain the Mishnah? So it says, okay, Pashit, there has to be that he holds that Reish Lakish that you can't do a Chalipin with money, with Paris.
What's the gather for Milsa the Shchichi? How often does Rosh Hashanah come out on Shabbos?
I don't know how it's a fair often enough, I would think.
Yeah. Okay. Fine.
It's very weird. It's not. Yeah. I don't know how you define it's not common. Right. It's interesting because the only mushal that comes to my head every time is a kala from Dam Basulim. We know that we're machmer that Dam Basulim, even if there's no Dam, we're machmer that she becomes a neither, right? But she only has to wait 4 days, not 5 days. But normally before you start the Shivin Akiyim, you need to wait 5 days. But for this, it's only 4 days. Why? Milsa de loy shchicha. Milsa de loy shchicha. I'm saying everybody is supposed to get married, right? How do you call that a milsa de loy shchicha? Right? Elamai, I have no idea what milsa de loy shchicha.
Okay.
That's the main point of what I'm saying. No, but Elamai, you have to look at milsa de loy shchicha within each person.
Right, it only happens once. The person's marriage cycle, whatever, it only happens one time.
Look at it in Basa de Gavra. Now we're really good. It goes with the Gavra. In this person's lifetime, it's only happening once. So it's a loy shchik. I mean, we don't look at it as a loy shchik as for the Velt. We look at it for, so here too.
I mean, I don't know anything about, I understand what you're saying, but That action could be shchichi and not shchichi, even though it only happens once to the woman in her lifetime. How do you say it's so? How do you say it's little shchichi? It happens.
Yeah, but it's
The
going to happen.
time it happens, it either happens or it doesn't happen. It's a 50-50. It's not the whatever it's scientifically, whatever it is, but it's 50-50.
Correct, but it's 50-50. You hope a woman.
But it's not that every time it's not every time that she sees a period of from the time she's 12 till she's 50. It's not that. It's the one time when she has the first Misa with a husband.
So maybe you can't imagine that the Rabbanan when Mary took a survey of 10,000 girls and 10,000 women and came up with this figure.
No, I think it's like hey, you got within the person's lifetime. It's not common to be a kala. That's all. It's not so common as periods go. It's a minute. It's not minute. Whatever. It's a real minority of the time. That's most of the loy shchicha. So how many times
that was going? Isn't that most of the loy shchicha going on the Maisa? It's a most of the loy shchicha that the klita zera bein hashmashis before a chuppah.
No, that's what it is. I don't think so.
Or maybe it's loy shchicha whether or not she sees dam. Yeah, it's going on not the person getting married, but I was thinking that also.
Okay, maybe I'm not sure. Okay, either way, but that's how you define it. Okay, it's unclear how to define those of the shchicha. Bottom line, it's unclear. Fine. One more kasha. Tanan kolam atalton koinen zeh. Naftali's getting nervous. He's gonna have to make a baruch hu after the Ma'ariv and YFR. We'll see.
Not for me, for you.
No, don't be making no baruch hu for me. All right, kolam atalton koinen zeh. Right, all metaltalin can be kind of each other. Right? Kiss malay mice, the kiss malay mice. We're saying I can be makna metaltalin metaltalin, right? Meaning if I decide I want to buy Naftali's jacket off of him, so I give him my yarmulke and I can get his jacket, right? Metaltalin could be kind of metaltalin with chalipin. But then it says, what's a mashal of it? A bag of money with a bag of money. Now you just said that you can't do chalipin with money. Right? So what are you saying? A bag of money is a bag of money. So Tirgum Ravacha Medina Anka Nigra. We're talking about a coin that's called an Anka and a Nigra. What is that? Echad Salta Malchus. One is talking about where the Malchus, where the government took the coin out of commission. The Echad Salta Medina. The other one is that particular country or town, however you want to define Medina, meaning it really is in circulation, but this particular town decided they're making a macho against the government and they're not accepting this particular coin in their town. Right? So meaning one case it's totally out of circulation. I mean it's in circulation, but it's totally out of commission. The other one it's in commission, but this town decided that they're not using it. Okay. I mean that's what they're swapping. So with tzricha you need to say both types of coins. If you say that the malchus pasal did mishum de loy sagi klal, so then it doesn't work. It doesn't go anywhere. It's just totally these coins don't work. Upsal the Medina, but the Medina pasal the cycle of Medina achriti, it could work in another Medina. Ain't makatit matbeo. So I'll say that it's still a coin. Vein matbeo nikne b'chalipin, and a coin is not nikne b'chalipin. V'yesh min upsal the Medina. And if you say ma Medina mishum de loy sagi loy b'tzina v'loy b'vahesi. Because in the Medina, it's not gonna work. Not in secret. You can't do it under the tish, right? And not in public either. I mean, the town is not accepting it. I would salty malchus, but when the malchus passes something, disagli pitzina, that it does work pitzina, meaning people under the table will take. I know this is out of commission, but I'll take it. I mean, he's a coin collector. He says, I know this coin doesn't work, but you know what? If you really want to give it to me, I'll take it. So I'll say that it's still a matveya. And we can't use chalipin. So therefore we need to say both cases, that in both cases we look at it as if it's not a coin and therefore the chalipin could work. Okay, we'll stop over there. I hope it was semi-understandable. Tomorrow night's daf is very possible we'll start late. My brother's making a bar mitzvah Bez Hashem in Lakewood. It's supposed to start at 6 o'clock, but I don't know how Lakewood's manim work, so I will keep the island posted. Okay, Tillim. Yeah. Pay Gimel. Shem is mal asaf elim adam ilach. Atachar shal tishbeit el ki inei yevecha yemon maseh necha masarosh alam ki yom yisrael yisrael tzol tzanecha amu b'chu benachigim eloi v'lo yisrael Hashem yisrael oid. Ki noi tu li vachta v'locha b'risi chroisa,